Fitting in is the greatest barrier to belonging. Fitting in means adjusting yourself to meet others' expectations, thus disregarding your own truth and ideas to stand out. My name is Tina Redman, and welcome to WQMD. So, team, it's fitting in. When you think of fitting in, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
To not fit in.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, we as a society, as a gay community, we're constantly pushing against what hetero society is forcing down on us. We want to be seen as the standout group from the rest of the world. So why fit in with society?
I don't like to stand out. I want to be part of something bigger.
I feel the same way. I don't feel like standing out makes me feel very vulnerable, and being accepted and fitting in feels
Absolutely,
more like
but
home.
why would you want to fit into a society that rejects your beliefs and your way of living?
I mean, I wouldn't, and I don't, and I think that's the core of the problem. Right?
I think what we should be targeting here is why is it so important for you to fit in, knowing that you are different. Putting that out there.
But okay, wait. What makes you different?
The fact that I even said this as well with understanding my coming out story. Even when we had that session, I understood as well that there was something different about me. I wasn't like anyone else. The other guys who I was growing up around had different opinions about, and I had to sit there and be like, that's great. And I understand that you see that in a general sense, but I don't, and I'm so okay with not seeing what everyone else is seeing, or not believing that what everyone else is believing, or also feeling like I'm not a part of the mainstream. Maybe I am just in a little river, So that for me is in terms of my difference. I don't see myself far removed from society. I don't see like, are human beings and that's where I am. But I do find myself thinking differently, and my approach to maybe my upbringing and my surroundings were different. And I was okay with it.
But then a river, let's think of it like how you just said.
Runs
a river,
into the ocean.
It runs into the ocean. It's a body of water.
Yeah.
All right? That means there are other people like you. And do you
Yes.
feel that you fit in amongst them?
I think it's all about finding your community that you fit in with, and not necessarily fitting into society's perception of what said community should be like.
Yeah, it's a sense of belonging, but wherever you find your belonging, I mean, like, if you don't feel you fit in with straight couples, then don't be with them, but find your belonging somewhere else. We as humans have a natural inclination towards community, towards being part of something bigger.
Absolutely. I want to add to that, where you say that what I feel as a gay man and not necessarily a drag queen is I don't understand the term straight acting. And my reason for saying that is, why would you want to fit into a straight scenario when you are not a straight person, as per se? We see people, I mean, straight acting is a thing, and when you generally think about a gay person, you immediately think flamboyant, out there, fabulous. But there are those who walk among us every day in the everyday life. But it comes down to the thing, if you are not a straight acting male, you are seen as a lesser value.
What do you mean straight acting? That's the first time I've heard that term. Do you mean like performative-wise, as if you are...
Performance-wise, I mean, if I walk through Cresta, people will immediately see that I'm homosexual.
Alright.
Not necessarily that I'm walking around flapping my hands, but it is part of my being. Straight acting comes down to, I would look at someone and I'll be like, oh, that person is never gay. If that
Your
makes
mannerisms,
sense.
the way you talk, the way
Yeah.
you act. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
It is an interesting thing as well, and I think that's where I was trying to come in early by saying then it's okay for me not to have been that person as my friends, So I could have also adapted. I could have also then mimicked and been like, oh no guys, but she's hot, eh? But it wasn't something I found myself being comfortable with. And you find, like Shenay says, a lot of people who don't want to identify with that element that's speaking and saying, but you're different, you're thinking different to the people who are around you. So I think when we come into the fact of boiling down, your question of earlier is, what fitting in are we looking for then? As a gay community, why are we looking for the acceptance? Is it the acceptance within the community, or is it the acceptance from without? And why do we need either one?
Well, here's my thing. As gay people, we've been marginalized, we've been othered for so long that finding a community kind of reaffirms your existence. It's like, you're not eliminating me, I exist and I'm here, right? And that's so important for human beings to live. And I think that's why when you say that sense of community and belonging is so important, that's what people want. So when you're telling me, like, you know, oh, sorry, not you. So when Shenay's saying, Shenay, you're saying, you know, you want to stand out. Do you find comfort in that?
When I say stand out, it doesn't mean now that I'm going to go out into society in drag and go shopping for a bread.
Right.
Like, I'm not necessarily looking for attracting unwanted attention to myself. But I mean, it is fitting in and standing out and not being, you know, part of that culture where the sheep mentality was forced down upon us to be exactly the same as everybody else.
I want to take on what you were saying, because it's something that's triggering with me and resonating with what you're saying. It's the understanding that, okay, this is the space that I'm in right now, this is who I am, and you're not wanting to attract attention that you don't want, but we're also saying, but by being who you are, because you're different, you are attracting attention regardless. So this form of acceptance and the part of being a part of something, I understand it, but at the same time, you also need to then not be in a position to, must I lower who I am? Must I remove a bit of myself in order to fit in? Is that what
society wants, for us to compromise on being who we truly are?
Yes.
And a big thing that is very disturbing and you know, caught my attention is the fact of how do we fit in to our own community, because even there's so much divide within our own community. As much as we want to be a unit, there is still so many different little smaller units which there is divide, there is disagreement, and people look down on other groups. I mean, gay people don't necessarily like drag queens. Lesbians don't necessarily like gay people, you know, and there's this stigma that we've created. But I don't understand, where did that start? When did we go and become
I think, to carry on what you're saying, I think it's the fact that we don't know.
We don't understand.
We don't understand. I'm on my own journey here as a gay guy. I mean, I'm mixed race, I'm gay, I've got all these challenges. I'm like, wow, okay.
Girl, you are the trifecta.
So I am here embracing me. I am, and I think it's a journey that we are forced to take, which is a great space to be in, which is why I cannot fit in, because no other person is forced to face and deal, you know, with yourself and your own issues. Now we're in a community that we are identifying as the LGBTI plus community, and I cannot even sit here and tell you what the plus is. I can't even really identify what it is like to have a great relationship with a lesbian woman, and I understand her, and I know her journey, and she understands my journey, and this is where we meet.
We're not doing enough to learn about it.
But that's the thing. I feel like that acronym, the LGBTI, it just keeps on adding. It keeps on going.
And you know what? I'm sorry, I'm just going to stop you there. What I see it, and I understand why the necessity of it, because people need identity. They want, like, I exist, right?
Yes.
So if I'm non-binary, I'm here too, you know? I want you to know those things. I feel like at some point we are going to get to a point where these labels will be dropped, but I don't think it's now. I think right now it's important for us to know that they exist and that they're here. And when the plus comes, we know what's in the plus.
Yes.
Tell me what's new. Tell me so that I understand you. And I don't think we're doing enough to do that.
But there's this plus, and we haven't even focused on the LGBTI element of
Exactly.
it. And that for me is what I feel we challenged at in this community. Because are we actually a part of this community?
And that's the thing, like, we create all these labels that we put on ourselves, but we try to break away from the labels that society has put on us. So it's kind of like these two conundrums
contradiction.
working
It's
together.
because before I am lesbian, I am a person.
Absolutely.
You know? And I don't think people understand that. People even within our community.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that will always be a constant struggle.
So I want to project now onto you, both Jaco and Tina. When you're speaking about the fitting in element, what is it that you're wanting to fit into? What space is it? What is the fitting in and acceptance that you referred to at the beginning?
Well, look, I'll never settle for fitting into a community that will not accept me. So, for instance, if my family or my friends or whatever they don't accept me, I'm not going to sit there and just want them to accept me and change who I am. So I'll just move away, but eventually I'll find friends and family who supports me in my journey and will support me in my existence, to make me a better person, to make me grow on my journey. And that's kind of what I'm looking for and longing for. It's someone that can walk your road with you. I mean, like, it can be quite a very lonely road. Our journey it's very long, it's very lonely. It's always nice to have someone there, a shoulder or two to cry on, and to hear someone else's experiences from what they had to do when they faced certain challenges. And that's kind of what I'm referring to when I see community and fitting in with certain groups.
Are you speaking about then creating your own community?
Yeah, basically your own community. I don't care if the straight community or the global community, I don't care if they don't accept me. I'm not going to change to fit in with them. But I know there are groups of people that will accept me for who I am. And
Absolutely,
I'm
and it's
talking
all about finding those people.
Yeah, so that you don't have to be alone on your road.
But now in the gay community or the LGBTI+, one must be very specific. Isn't it that we are then looking for our own in this community? Is that what the element of fitting in is at the end of the day?
Well, let's think about it as a child. As a child, when you first come into the world, you're looking to others to see how you're supposed to walk in the world. Mm-hmm. If I don't see people like myself, I'm going to be constantly lost, right? So the moment you find someone who looks like you, speaks like you, you're immediately drawn to them because you're like, I'm going to learn something, and your journey starts. And then obviously once you start to walk, you find your own way, whatever. But I think that's what's happening. Because for example, the moment I hear, a lesbian couple over there, whatever, I want to make friends with them. I want to know more about them.
Yes.
How's your relationship? Yes, all those things.
It's about finding your
me,
tribe.
Right,
it's who you associate with and who you feel comfortable with. But again, then I want to say, you say it's about finding your journey and everything, but there are those people who they grow up and they get that little inkling of what it is to be different, but they kick against it and they decide just to go with the social norm, But isn't that just an unjust that you're doing to yourself?
Absolutely, but think about this. Someone said to me once, so being gay is a choice, and someone was like, if it was, I wouldn't be. I don't want to be bullied. I don't want to wake up every day and
nobody
be discriminated.
Nobody wants to be part of a minority
So
group.
The easiest thing to do is to push it away. And I know that I'm not going to wake up tomorrow morning and someone's burned me, tried to kill me, tried to rape me, corrective rape, all those things. I don't have to deal with those things. I'm safe knowing that these people think that I'm one of them. And that is scary. This is why children are hurting themselves, killing themselves, This topic is so layered that I don't even think we could even unpack it in one
But I
session.
think it is important for us to have this platform
Absolutely.
to speak about it, because as I'm listening as well, I'm understanding the differences, because I think some sort of amnesia happens with me. I have this little technique where whatever happens to me that's a negative, I block it out. And I've got this perseverance attitude. I'm resilient. Oprah said, you be resilient. Yeah, Bella. I was like, I'm going, Mom, I'm going. And you forget. And then someone else who's younger, who's starting this journey, is walking that same path. And you're just like, what did I go through? Whoa, we need to be speaking about it. So pushing it away and not being associated with it doesn't help the process. Because at the end of the day, if we are searching as adults for people who have done it before, are we not supposed to be those people now?
Absolutely.
When there's a lesbian couple, you're running after them, you're like, hey, I want you to know more. How you're married? I mean, I crave that as well. I'd love to have a older gay couple who's been doing it for 20 years. But are we not stepping into that platform right now? And is it not our responsibility then to accept who we are, understand where we come from, and be the difference and communicate and have a platform to speak, you know, openly?
It's like you say, there's a lot of people in school who don't have access, or, you know, who can turn to people and, you know, ask for advice and you know, get a sense of what it is like to be different. So I do agree with Jodi. We are in a powerful position, or not necessarily a powerful position, but in a privileged position to be who we are. And we need to be role models and a mirror for those people to say that it is okay to be different. You know, it is okay. Okay. It is okay.
Yes.
It is okay, you know, to go through these things and to feel like you're not fitting in, you know, in this group or that group and that group. But you will find your tribe someday. It may not happen, you know, immediately. It might take 2, 3, 4 years. But you can't just suppress it. You can't just let it limbo and linger here. It is your responsibility to also actively work at that.
But we also have a responsibility as a community in whole, you know, not like the different subdivisions, LGBTQI. We are all united in one global cause.
We all fall under the term gay
Yeah,
or
and
homosexual.
we all have a responsibility to be there for someone else, whether they, like, I'm not transgender or anything, but I must be there. It's my responsibility to be there for someone who's transgender and walk with them their road and their journey.
And to be there for someone without judgment.
Exactly.
You know, to listen to their stories and to be a support structure.
So that's something that the whole community must still work towards, because currently it's not there.
It isn't.
But what do you think will be the first step of us getting to that point, though?
We have planted the seed by starting the conversation.
Yeah.
People need to talk about it. People need to stop suppressing it. People need to stop wishing it away. People need to stop trying to blend in with everyday society. Not that I'm saying it's wrong, but you are doing an unjust to yourself.
So let me give you a scenario. Say that I live in KZN, rural KZN, okay? And I am a gay individual then. Who do I go to for help? You know, how do I speak about it? Because I could be hurt, you know? It's not easy to just come out.
Okay, but are you talking, when you say you're an individual in KZN, are you talking about someone that is still in school? Are you talking about an adult who's already...
Broad spectrum. No, from a young child to...
What Tina's asking as well, because in terms of the community that you are in, regardless of your age, you are still wanting to be a part of that of something. So what is the reaching out point, though, from that space?
And you know how it's dangerous to come out in communities like that. I know the black community doesn't fully accept gay individuals. Not one chance, all right? So if I'm in rural KZN, who do I go to? Where am I getting information from? And I see these people living truthfully, you know, doing their thing. How do I know? How do I reach out? Where do I reach out, you know?
But the thing is, now the other question for me is, like, if you live in rural KZN, is there not a visual stimuli from someone else? Because how would you develop or know that you are homosexual if there's nobody else?
You know.
Well, you know.
There's TV, there's, you know. So basically, yeah, you see, you feel what you feel. It is what it is.
I
you know. And let's say you hear about it, I'm sure you know about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You just don't know how to act it out. You don't know how to be.
I think, you know, for someone struggling and not knowing or having anyone to turn to and to express what they are going through, I think that is a very serious topic that we also need to address, you know. But I think it's like, you know, I think it's like you said earlier, you will attract the right tribe of people. You will attract the right people to you at the right time when it is necessary for you. I think there's a lot of growth that one needs to go through. There's a lot of change that one needs to go through. And I think it ultimately comes down to accepting, you know, what you feel on the inside.
I also think
I know it's difficult. I know it's difficult.
And I think it's also one of those situations where you maybe have to, as someone who's in the community, try and identify with someone who you could maybe speak to. And I think that's also where Shenay's trying to come to. You're going to attract your tribe. But I think if you are in a surrounding or in a situation where you cannot express who you truly are, I think it's important then to try and find someone, if not with the immediate, maybe someone outside that you could also maybe trust. Sometimes people who are at school look at teachers and they try and keep the secret with them, or they go speak to maybe another person's parent who they see as an aunt and uncle. As we grew up, like my friends' parents were as an auntie this and uncle that, you know, and you kind of see when someone's like, oh, but that Jodi's a little different, eh? And they're like, oh, that's the auntie. Can I get a cup of tea for you, auntie? You know, she'll sit there, she'll talk, and then slowly, because she knows. And I think it's about exactly what Shenay is saying, is identifying that if you're not looking, know that you are attracting. Just be aware there is someone in your community that could be your friends, parents, or some person in the school or in the community, a leader that you feel comfortable with, you feel safe with, and you could maybe share that information. Because obviously we're not going to be there, you know, but for them to be able to have that mindset.
Even if you have access, maybe they don't, but maybe they do have access to, you know, internet sources or something. I mean, like, they can reach out to similar people out there.
I mean, there's so many online platforms that offer help. Oh, are you not feeling it?
No, I can tell you now that when it comes to online or anything, in rural parts and communities, that is a privilege, and there's just absolutely no access, right? So how do we speak about what we speak? How does this conversation
reach those people?
Areas?
Social media, which is the power right now.
And how, you know? Data prices are here. Not even everyone has a phone there. And if it is a phone, it's one of those...
Nokia 3310s.
Right. So...
You see, this is a very, very critical point that you are making. And again, it comes down to us as a community and as individuals to make sure that this message that we're talking about here reaches those people.
Or someone who can reach them
exactly
in the community. You know, so maybe there's someone then who's watching, who's listening, and identifying that, hey, you know, Tina said that thing on the show, and I'm here, you know, and I relate with Tina, so maybe I should make the effort to identify and look and be, and like to say, I'm here. If anyone needs me, I'm here.
But that's where we as a community need to step in. We need to step in and step up. Right, and we're not doing enough.
But I think the main thing comes down. We know that we need to step up. We know that there are these people that need our help. But I think a lot of people don't know how to take that step. If that makes sense.
But then also bring it back to the fitting in element. It's about finding your tribe. It's about the attraction. It's about, and speaking of the tribe, I want to just ask a question out there. Am I the only person who's not been to a pride before?
I've been to Pride.
I've been there once.
Tina?
I went to Pride.
I mean, I think everybody needs to experience Pride, you know, once or twice in their life. What I do want to add to that, being said that have we gone to Pride?
Yes.
How relevant is Pride still in 2019?
I think Pride is relevant and it's necessary. However,
How it's been done.
I didn't see anyone like myself the last Pride I went.
Oh, wow.
I saw, it was actually predominantly white gay men. And I was there and I was like, okay, where am I? I don't know what I'm supposed to do, you know? And I don't feel like Pride it feels a bit elitist as well. Not everyone can go to Melrose.
Please elaborate on that, because I've never been. So this is education also for all the viewers who have not been. What do they experience?
In Johannesburg, there is Soweto. There is. It's not just Melrose. How do we make sure that?
But again, it comes down to, you know, it feels we're not connected as a community, because I'm going to say it as it is, but I feel like there's more, you know, black and coloured gay people going to the Soweto Gay Pride. Pretoria Pride is very Afrikaans. Johannesburg Pride, you know,
Soweto Gay Pride.
Yeah.
there is a Soweto Gay Pride. There's
even a
bunch.
So I'm sorry, there's actually different prides in one city.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, this speaks volumes.
But you see, and that I think that is the core Like, we've also become so divided within that sense of the community. For me, when I go to Pride, and I do appreciate, and I mean, like, I think it is a glorious time for us to still celebrate that we have the right to express ourselves freely and to be who we are. But when I go to a Pride, the only thing is that I see is people who can dress in the least amount of clothing and who can get drunk the quickest. I feel that is what I see when we go to Pride.
I must be so good, but that's my perception. Because I have so many friends, forgive me friends, who I'm making outfits for. And I'm just like, okay, so where's the rest of the outfit?
Did you see?
Here, you know?
I feel like, and again, I feel like the whole point of Pride is just, it has become this generalized event.
But is this a space of acceptance? Is this a space where I'm supposed to go and fit in? That's what I'm trying to establish by this. Because
I don't feel that I fit in when I go to Pride, for instance. So I don't feel that I'm fitting when I go to Pride. It's totally a different atmosphere. When I get there, it's like you said, you know, people with the least amount of clothing, people getting drunk. It's not about, to me it feels like it's not being pride or proud about being who I am and being proud of the community, because I don't always feel proud when I see the community there. It's like you are actually shaming us a lot of people.
And that's the thing, it's creating a stereotype. I mean, when I go to Pride, I look at all these people that are wearing the bare minimum, and I'm thinking, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Is this what it means to kind of fit in, to be part of Pride?
But remember, Pride is where you want to be accepted, right?
Yes.
It's where you want to express yourself freely. And let's think about the past. Gay men were highly sexualized, right? And they were judged for that. In Pride, you're allowed to express that part of yourself and be like, look, this is who I am. I'm not saying that I'm obviously what you say that I am, but I'm doing what I can, what I want to in this setting. And that's what Pride is about, right? And that's not what we have now.
Yeah.
So what are you saying in terms of us going back to where it was?
We need to go back to the roots of what Pride was created for. It's going out into communities and saying, this is who we are and we are proud of it.
Right, right.
Because that would also touch base exactly in terms of people who are watching right now. This is exactly what the Pride should be doing. Going to those communities and saying, hey, we're here to celebrate. We're here to say it's okay, you know, and be a part of it and be okay with it. But what it feels like, I feel what the perception that it creates for outsiders who, you know, spectate on Pride. The viewers.
We promote this promiscuity, you know, this promiscuous lifestyle, and that is the very essence of stereotype that we want to break.
Yes.
Because we're gay, or because we're lesbian, or because we're trans, or intersex, or queer, or whatever, those are labels that society gave us, but we are still human behind those labels. There's a person who has feelings, who is hurting, who has troubles, who is struggling with whatever situations they have around them. And by adding those labels, it just adds to the pressure.
If you're watching and you are struggling to fit in and you feel like an outsider and you feel othered, I want to tell you that you should live your truth. That's the most important thing. Be fully and truly you and know that you are loved, and that you'll always find a support system. All right? And if you can't find it out there, you're going to find it right here on WQMD.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have difficulty with your families, for instance, if you can't come out right away and immediately, don't force it. I mean, like, you still need a roof over your head. You still need to go through school. You know, once you are independent and you've grown your independence, then that's the time. I only came out when I was 21. Up until then, I had to fight battles within myself. But it's worth it at the end of the day. And my parents love me for it. I love me for it. So don't force it to happen immediately.
Fitting in doesn't necessarily mean fitting into what society perceives you to be. You can fit into whatever mold you want to be. It's finding the right people, connecting with, finding people that accept you, embrace you, and love you. There's a lot of resources that we have at our disposal. There are LGBT forums online, out.coza, PFLAG South Africa, Gala. The possibilities are endless, and there's always somewhere to turn to.
Yeah, and I think I've done that as well, and I think I'll go a little deeper on my side. I think my experience of fitting in is fit in with yourself first. Get to know who you are. Find yourself, find the essence that makes you who you are. Not your sexuality, not where you're coming from, not where you're going to, just who you are. And I believe in the law of attraction, and I feel like Oprah when I'm saying this. I believe it because once you identify who you are, your kind will attract themselves to you, and you will attract yourself to them as well. So I would say it's about fitting in with who you are first, and then taking it from there. And like Tina said as well, we are here, from WQMD.
Yeah, boy. And I mean, you can just add to that, like as RuPaul always says, if you can't love yourself, how are you going to love someone else?
We all want to be loved and accepted and included, not for what we have, what we look like, or what we do, but for who we truly are. See you next week on the next episode of WQMD.
Do you and 3 of your friends want to win a weekend away at the Forever Resort Loskop Dam? All you have to do is tag 3 of your friends on this post and share. As easy as that.